out on her while she was in the middle of running errands, threw the money on the counter, grabbed her daughter, and stormed out. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have called the police on her or not? Please let us know.
Definitely. She's gonna be one of the worst mothers I've ever heard of.
I don't call him by his name either. Last night, my daughter came home from her job. She works retail in a nearby shopping plaza, with the sad news that their neighboring store, which specializes in kitchenware, is having a going out of business sale. It was tragic news in our home, as my wife and daughter both share a passion for baking and cooking and shop there often. So much so that the owner, my wife, and daughter are on a first-name basis. Ever since my daughter was little, she was mommy's helper in the kitchen. It's been a running gag in our house the past few years that we give her a 5-pound bag of flour among her Christmas presents. Now, 17, she enjoys flying solo in the kitchen, and her pierogies are food not to be eaten, but experienced. My wife is feeling under the weather, so she gave me a list of things to look at, plus a surprise item, more later. I agreed to meet my daughter at the store when she finished work. My daughter had gotten there a little early, and I was a little late leaving the house, so she had already been in the store by the time I arrived. That's what our party is. Our cast. We've got sweetheart daughter, we've got obnoxious lady, and we've got nice store owner. I arrive at the store and find daughter chatting with the owner, commiserating over the store closing. Owner was feeling sad and appreciated daughter's sympathy, so I decided to shop for a bit and let them finish their conversation. I had barely made it 20 feet before I was overwhelmed by some of the choices. Nearby stood a middle-aged woman who, even with a mask, you could tell wore a perpetual scowl that curdled milk in a 5-mile radius. So I turned towards daughter and said, "Hey, sweetheart, I have a question." Old lady.
Sweetheart, that's not how you address a woman.
At this point, daughter hears the kerfuffle and sprints over, knowing that the gene that allows one to suffer fools gladly is only present in my wife's DNA. Owner wasn't with her, apparently having just begun bringing someone up. Me. But she's old lady, talking over me, raising her voice.
You jerk! She has a name!
Me. Yes, I know. I was going to point out I gave her that name, after my grandmother, but she continued raising her voice.
You address her politely as?
Emphatically.
Miss, or use her name.
Daughter, now arriving, putting her hands up. Look, it's okay. Old lady, turning to daughter.
No, it's not okay. You should not have to put up with...
Daughter, raising her voice. It's okay. I don't call him by his name either. I call him Dad. It's obvious that the embarrassment is now further exacerbating old lady's rage. And were I not, suffering fools gladly challenged, I'd have just let things go. But as I mentioned, I lack that gene. Me. This is the part where a reasonable person apologizes. Karen just glares at me, determined not to give me the satisfaction before turning and walking away. Me. Yeah, I knew our little exchange was one reasonable person short. Come on, with emphasis. Sweetheart. Let's finish, with emphasis, Mom's shopping list. We worked through the rest of the list, filling our basket and ferrying up the larger items to the counter. There are no shopping carts. Thankfully, Karen had gone by the time owner began bringing us up. Me to owner. Oh, I forgot one thing. This is where the aforementioned surprise comes in. I hurriedly returned with the deluxe KitchenAid stand mixer that elicited a puzzled look from my daughter, as we already have one. Turning to my daughter. This one's for you. Mom and I figured that someday when you have your own place, you'll have your first appliance. Cue misty eyes from my daughter. Owner gave us an extra $50 off, which was yet another nice surprise. Speaking of baking, what was the last thing you baked or cooked? Please let us know.
I made a quiche last night, and boy was it good.
Am I the jerk for telling a mom on my flight I did not think she handled her kids